In the coastal city of Gothenburg, Sweden, at Chalmers University, there's a world-famous Professor Emeritus in physics with a unique approach to learning. His name is Per-Olof Nilsson. He runs a huge experimental workshop called the House of Learning. It succeeded in widely increasing interest in the natural sciences amongst the young. We paid him a visit to ask him what he thinks is the key in increasing creativity in society today.
No, creativity has nothing to do with intelligence. It's something else. It has a lot to do with emotions and so on. These feelings and emotions have to be mixed in, because knowledge are just facts. They are neutral and doesn't give you any progress if you don't handle them in a good way. So you have to be playful. And you see, this starts moving now, forth and back, and we call this for chaos. It's like the weather or the economy is very irregular, not periodic. From my studies in neuroscience, I think you are born with a lot of neurons in your head, maybe 100 billions. But then, when you are brought up, they start to interconnect, you know, via nerves. And that forms networks, and that will create your personality. So depending on how you are brought up or you are taught, you can be more or less creative later on. If you read in a book, after say 6 days or something like that, you remember 10% of what you have read. But if you do the same thing, you remember more than 80%. It's called kinesthetic memory. It goes into your muscles, which programs your brain, and you will remember it forever if you have done it physically. And you put your hands steadily, don't move them. If I show you something and I say, what do you think will happen now? You make a proposal, of course that and that will happen, and then something else happens. And you get extremely astonished. It's a cognitive conflict, okay? And that will program your brain, because the neurons will now couple where the synapses to new networks, and you will never forget it. And this cognitive conflict is used in magic, and you can use that in teaching. So now you let in your current by pressing the red button. Just press it and release it. I have a magnet, and on that is hovering, levitating, a thin sheet of graphite. People have tried this for centuries, but they have the magnet above the graphite, and it's too heavy, so it just falls down. But no one in the world have thought of turning it around. So it was a world unique experiment. But you see, they will now remember that I have wooden pieces there. Now I take away the wooden pieces, and you see, it will float, it will hover, it will float around. If you look down there, you will see there's a space there. That's going out of the box of creativity. Do the opposite. Turn it upside down, and you solve problems in the world. Many PhD students who have been extremely bright, they got the highest points in all courses, but they cannot advance. They are stuck, they never become a professor, because they cannot use the knowledge. We are kind of locked. We are like a squirrel running around, you know, doing the same thing. So depending on how you are brought up or you are taught, you can be more or less creative later on. But now they are exactly the same. And you have a lot of such illusions around you you are not aware of. And I often relate to Einstein, who said, the theory which cannot be explained to a child is probably worthless.